Hi everyone, welcome to Full Well's Knowledge Well series. My name is Allegra Gast and I'll be speaking to you about postpartum nutrition. So just a little bit about myself. I am a registered dietitian and IBCLC lactation consultant. I run both an in-person and virtual private practice called Aloha Nutrition, which I started when I lived in Hawaii. My husband is in the U.S. Air Force, so we've been stationed there. We were stationed in Hawaii for several years, but now we're located in San Angelo, Texas. I am a mom of two, a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, so they keep me busy. And I specialize in postpartum nutrition, and I'm very passionate about helping moms feel good postpartum. So what you'll learn today, what I hope you'll take away, is why postpartum is so important. I'll review what the NEST acronym is. I'll review what makes up a balanced meal, key nutrients to look out for in the postpartum period, the importance of minerals. I'll go over some fun ways to add those minerals in, like mineral mocktails, how to incorporate all of this with a baby. I know this is probably the most challenging part is, okay, this is great information, but how do I do this with a baby? So I'm definitely going to go over some tips for that. And then just ways to get self-care time in postpartum, and then ways that you can find support to better help you in this postpartum period. So just to start off, why does this matter? Why does postpartum nutrition matter? So for 9 to 10 months, you've been creating a human being, which is very demanding on the body. And now postpartum, you're not only recovering and repleting yourself, but you're also producing breast milk, which is also demanding on the body. You're going through sleepless nights, which is sleep is usually when your body restores itself and regains this stamina and this energy, which now with the baby, you're probably not getting a lot of sleep. You might have very minimal support. You might have a demanding baby. All babies need a lot of attention and support, but that can take a toll on us mentally and even physically. I'm sure you've heard that during pregnancy, your body requires an additional 200 to 300 calories, and breastfeeding requires 500 extra calories. And that's just because it's so much more demanding on your body. And many parents find themselves more hungry postpartum than they were during pregnancy. I know for me, when I was breastfeeding my kids, I was constantly hungry. I was constantly thirsty too. Every time I would breastfeed, I'd be like, where's the closest water? So breastfeeding makes you very thirsty. So with all of this additional stress, not just the physical stress of recovering from labor and delivery, but the physical stress of breastfeeding, but also the mental load, the emotional load, the additional stress of having a baby, having to take care of someone else. And this can be especially challenging if you have other kids too. You have a toddler running around and you're trying to take care of a baby. So nutrition is going to be so important for giving you that stamina, for helping you feel strong, for helping you feel nourished, as well as preventing many health issues, including postpartum depression, thyroid issues, even diabetes. So taking care of yourself now in this postpartum period, nourishing yourself, is going to be very helpful for yourself in the long run. So just some facts about the postpartum period. 1 in 7 will develop PPD, postpartum depression, or postpartum anxiety. 50% is expected to experience postnatal depletion. So all of this, creating a baby, is very taxing on your body. Your body is literally lending nutrients to grow your baby. And this not only happened during pregnancy, but now postpartum. And so this leaves you in a depleted state. This postpartum depletion can leave you feeling low energy, maybe having mood swings, even mental health issues. You might develop thyroid issues or other health concerns. So it's really important to continue to nourish yourself. So just to touch on mental health, and mental health and postpartum depression is multifactorial. There are so many things that can influence this, but one of the big things that can influence this is nutrition. Nutrition has a big influence on mental health. And not only is it important to eat balanced meals like protein, fiber, fat, and I'm going to go into this in a couple more slides, But also studies have shown that a deficiency of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, zinc, and selenium, so these specific nutrients, have been associated with postpartum depression. So incorporating more of these minerals are going to be really important. So examples of omega-3 fatty acids, this is like salmon, sardines, chia seeds, walnuts. Vitamin D, eggs, salmon, fortified foods, getting out in the sunlight. Getting sunlight is going to be crucial for mental health. I mean, how many of you get seasonal affective disorder where in the winter months it's just gloomy outside and you're just feeling a little more low, but then as soon as the sun comes out, it just lifts everyone's spirit. So that vitamin D and seeing that sunlight is going to be really helpful. If you live in a place that does not get a lot of sunlight or you're delivering in the winter months, I recommend getting a SAD lamp. So it's a full sunlight box, light box, and you just sit next to the light box for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's supposed to mimic the sun, and it can be really helpful for lifting your spirits, helping with your mood. So I personally would do that on gloomy days. I would breastfeed my baby or eat breakfast right by the SAD lamp, the light box, and that would really help. It also just helps with your circadian rhythm, just kind of waking you up in the morning. And then zinc is found in meats, legumes, nuts and seeds. And then selenium is found in Brazil nuts. And fun fact, just 2 to 3 Brazil nuts has 100% of the RDA for selenium. So I like to eat just 2 to 3 Brazil nuts a day. I eat them as a supplement, and that's a really easy way to get that selenium. But selenium is also found in seafood, tuna, and tofu. So going into the nest. So the nest is a great way to think. It's basically like a self-help program. So the components of nests are all important pieces needed to have good mental health. It helps with the foundation of mental health and just overall feeling good. So NEST stands for nutrition, exercise, sleep or rest, time for self, and support. So just in this presentation, I'm going to highlight nutrition, time for self, and support, although all 5 pillars are very important as well. So in addition to the other nutrients that I had mentioned that help with postpartum depression, so those were omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, zinc, and selenium, these other nutrients are also critical for recovery. So collagen, healthy fats, choline, and iodine and selenium. So collagen is in our connective tissue, it's in our skin, and it helps with our skin elasticity and our shrinking uterus. So because postpartum, our uterus is now shrinking, it can help with that skin elasticity. It's also a really easy way to get more of that protein. So I'll go into the importance of protein, but ideally we want about 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. And so at breakfast, you could just do a scoop of collagen powder in your coffee, and that would be a really easy way to get more of that protein. Bone broth is also a great source of collagen, as well as gelatin. You can make like little gelatin like candies, so to speak. You just can use like any juice, like pineapple juice, and you mix it with gelatin, and then you refrigerate it, and then it hardens, and you can just eat those like a snack, and that's a really easy way to get some collagen. Healthy fats help with inflammation, and because you just delivered a baby, you have a lot of inflammation in your body, and then add stress, lack of sleep. This can all contribute to that inflammation. So incorporating healthy fats, these are anti-inflammatory and can help with that inflammation. It also helps with the fat-soluble vitamins, so vitamin D that I had mentioned, but also vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin E. We need healthy fats for our bodies to absorb it best. So incorporating healthy fats is going to be important. Healthy fats also influences the type of fat in your breast milk. So if you're breastfeeding, it's really great to incorporate more of these healthy fats because that will influence the type of fat in your breast milk. So it won't influence the amount of fat in your breast milk, but it will change the type of fat. So eating foods like fish, avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, these are all going to be great ways to add that healthy fat. And then choline. Choline is a super important nutrient that often gets neglected. Not a lot of people talk about choline. Not a lot of people know about choline. But choline is a bee-like vitamin, and it helps make acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter in your body. So neurotransmitters help with our mood. It helps with our memory. So hello, mom brain. If you're experiencing mom brain, we want to incorporate more of those healthy fats. We want to incorporate that choline just so that our bodies can make acetylcholine, that neurotransmitter. So choline is found in eggs. So just 2 to 3 eggs has half the RDA, 50% of the RDA of choline. So eggs are a really easy way to get that choline. Organ meats like beef liver is going to be a great source, but also tofu, cauliflower have some small amounts, but really the best sources are eggs and organ meats. Next, iodine and selenium. So these are 2 important nutrients that are crucial for thyroid health. And so our thyroid helps our body make energy. It helps with our metabolism, and it just has so many crucial functions in our body. So we want to make sure that we're supporting our thyroid as best as we can. So iodine is found in fish, it's found in seaweed, kelps. So what I like to do is buy kelp sprinkles, and I just sprinkle kelp sprinkles on my eggs, on my food here and there. And then the selenium also found in fish, but also Brazil nuts. So just trying to incorporate more of that stuff. Iodine is also found in dairy as well. And the hard thing about all of this is so many moms go on restricted diets. They eliminate dairy, for example, or they fear fish. Maybe they were told that fish is too high in mercury and it's not good for the baby. So as we're eliminating all these foods, we're creating us to be more susceptible to nutrient depletion. So, if you are going dairy-free, we want to look at alternatives, to that iodine, and even like calcium and protein. If you don't eat fish, how can we start to incorporate more of this selenium and iodine? Could you add kelp sprinkles? Maybe you can put kelp sprinkles in a soup or stew, something that has a lot of flavor that you can't taste the kelp sprinkles. So, try to find different ways to incorporate these nutrients. So minerals are considered your micronutrients. So we have macronutrients, which are like your fiber, protein, and fat, and then you have micronutrients. So micronutrients are your vitamins and minerals. And we need them in small amounts. So they're micro means small, but they are crucial for hundreds of bodily functions. So some example of minerals are like potassium, sodium, magnesium, iodine, copper, and these are all crucial for many bodily functions. So I like to think of minerals as like factory workers. So these factory workers in our body helps our body function properly. When we start to get rid of these factory workers, it slows production down. There's supply chain issues. Things aren't working as efficiently as it should be. So by incorporating more of these minerals, making sure we're getting them via diet or supplements is going to ensure that our body is working properly or efficiently. Pregnancy and then postpartum further depletes you of these critical minerals. And without these minerals, your body won't function as efficiently as it should be. So really being mindful of these minerals. So a really easy way is a prenatal vitamin. So I love Fullwell's prenatal vitamin. I think it's a great quality. So continue to take a prenatal vitamin throughout your entire breastfeeding journey. And even if you're no longer breastfeeding, many health professionals encourage continuing, as well as myself, continue encouraging to take a prenatal at least that first year postpartum, just to fill in the nutritional gaps. So because 50% of us are depleted by the time we even get into the postpartum period, it's important to replenish those lost nutrients. So taking a good prenatal vitamin is going to help fill in those gaps and help you get those minerals. So another fun way of getting these minerals is making a mineral drink. So a mineral drink is a source of potassium. So whether that's coconut water, banana, maybe adding cream of tartar. It's a sodium source, so putting quality salt. So I like Celtic salt or Redmond real salt. And then adding a vitamin C source, so whether that's orange juice, pineapple juice, maybe you squeeze some lemon in that, or grapefruit juice. And then magnesium. You could either add a supplement for that or just make it optional. And then I like to add Full Well's Nourished Nerves into that just for a more calming effect. And drinking this just 1 to 3 times a day is a really great way to help with your energy, especially in preventing that afternoon crash. So if you find yourself needing a nap in the afternoon or going for that extra coffee, maybe you start to incorporate mineral mocktails. So it's a really easy way. It's very delicious, and sodium, potassium, magnesium, these are electrolytes, and they help our body stay hydrated. So if you find yourself just drinking tons of water but peeing it out, most likely you're not actually using that water. So by incorporating electrolytes, it's actually bringing that water into your cells and allowing your body to actually use that water and use those nutrients. So I hear from a lot of moms that their supply increased once they incorporated body armor or Gatorade. And that's because of these electrolytes. So I'm not a huge fan of those because they're loaded with sugar and a lot of times artificial dyes. But if you can just go back to the basics and get those electrolytes, that is going to do the same thing as those body armors and Gatorades. So here are just a few fun examples. So maybe you do a grapefruit splash. Maybe that's 8 ounces of aloe vera juice, 4 ounces of grapefruit juice, and then maybe a quarter or an eighth of a teaspoon of Celtic salt. So I like to just grab a pinch and just put it in my juice, in my drink. And then maybe you do some magnesium powder. Maybe you do more of a lemonade. So maybe you do like water and then some coconut water, and then a squeeze of lemon juice and then some salt. Another fun way that I like to take these mineral drinks is making a creamsicle. So grab some orange juice, and you could even do like half orange juice and half water, and then coconut milk, and it gives it a nice creamy texture, and then add some salt to it. So these are some really easy, fun ways to get your minerals. So now with balanced meals, we talked about the micronutrients, and now I want to talk about the macronutrients. So macro means large. We need them in large quantities. And this is your protein, fiber, or carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, and then healthy fats. So when we can incorporate these 3, protein, fiber, fat, it is keeping our blood sugar steady, it's keeping our mood steady, it's keeping us satiated for several hours. So many of us are very carb focused. You know, maybe for breakfast you eat a piece of bread with jelly on it, or you eat a bowl of cereal, and that is causing a spike in blood sugar, and then you're going to have a crash, and then you're going to reach for some cookies, maybe lactation cookies, and you're going to have the spike and then crash. So it's this constant yo-yo, this roller coaster. And so by incorporating some protein, it's preventing that spike in blood sugar. So it's slow digesting, so it's going to keep our blood sugar steady, which is going to give us this ongoing energy for several hours. So for example, if we go back to the example of, bread with jelly, maybe you add some collagen powder to your coffee. Maybe you add an egg on top of that piece of bread. Maybe you do a bowl of oatmeal and Greek yogurt. Maybe you add some chia seeds, some hemp seeds. Maybe you use a higher protein milk. Even if you're dairy free, maybe you do pea milk instead of almond milk. Almond milk is very low in protein. So, just try to incorporate more of that protein. So protein is found in your animal products, dairy products, soy, beans, legumes, and then incorporating fiber, especially complex carbohydrates. So with fiber or with carbohydrates, there is simple carbohydrates and complex, and your complex is going to have that fiber, and that is going to be slow digesting. It's also going to feed our good gut bacteria, so it's going to help with gut health. And these are things that, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These are good sources of fiber. And then healthy fats. So healthy fat also prevents a spike in our blood sugar. So avocado, olive oil, chia seeds, avocado oil. So just incorporating some healthy fats. So once again, back to the breakfast example, your bread And eggs, I mean, eggs does have some fat in it, but maybe you put a thin layer of butter. Maybe for your oatmeal, you add some chia seeds, which is both the protein and the healthy fat and the fiber, actually. So all three of those. So just kind of try to make your meal a little fuller by incorporating that protein, fiber, fat. So this is just kind of a ratio. Carbohydrates, maybe you do 45% carbs, 30% protein, and fat 25%. And honestly, I don't even want you to think about this chart. I don't want you to count calories or count macros. We're already counting diapers. We're already counting how many ounces of milk our baby is consuming. So don't worry about this. But for some people that like to see numbers, I thought it might be helpful. But even with this, it will depend on the person. Maybe you work out a little bit more, maybe you're a little more active, maybe you need to actually bump up that carbohydrates. So, definitely play around with it, but don't get too hyper focused on it. But, just an example for the breakfast, maybe you do 2 to 3 eggs. So that's going to be your protein, the whole wheat toast, that's going to be your fiber, and then a quarter avocado, that's going to be your fat. Maybe for dinner, for lunch, you do 4 to 6 ounces of chicken breast, maybe half cup quinoa with a side salad with vinaigrette dressing. Maybe for a snack, you usually like to eat apples or a banana. Instead of just the apple and banana, pair that with some peanut butter, add some nuts, add a handful of trail mix. Maybe you do some beef jerky or a hard-boiled egg with a fruit. So, try to incorporate more protein, fiber, and fat into your snacks and into your meals, because you will find that it will keep you satiated a lot longer. So I usually encourage about 20 to 30 grams of protein. So 1 scoop of collagen powder, that's 15 grams, maybe 2 eggs, that's another 12 grams. There you go. Maybe dinner, like a 4-ounce chicken breast is going to be over 25 grams of protein. Maybe nuts, peanut butter is about, maybe 8 grams, 6 to 8 grams. So, play around, but ideally we want that emphasis in protein just because it's the most satiating macronutrients. So you're probably thinking like, okay, Allegra, this is great. I would love to eat balanced meals. I would love to start incorporating breakfast, but I don't have time, or my baby is a Velcro baby, and a Velcro baby was my baby. My youngest, I call him a Velcro baby because he just always wanted to be held. He always wanted me to carry him. So I had to do a lot of baby wearing. I had to get creative with how I made my meals, but it is possible, and it is so important to make it work for you, because obviously you need to nourish yourself. We've just gone over how important postpartum nutrition is. So some ways that I encourage eating healthy with a baby is to buy pre-cut fruits and vegetables. So yes, this is going to be a little more expensive, but you're paying more for their time to prep the food. So, time is money. So if you need to buy some pre-cut vegetables, pre-cut fruit, you do want to be cautious on foodborne illness. So, just be cautious of that. But, that can be a really easy way to save you some time. You have some pre-cut vegetables, you could make a saute, you could make a stir fry with that. I love to buy frozen vegetables. They're cheaper, they're already cut, they're ready to go. Some people think that frozen isn't as healthy as fresh, but sometimes it's actually healthier because they're picking it at peak season and flash freezing it, and it can stay frozen for months at a time. Whereas when they're picking it, when they're doing fresh, they're usually picking it before it's even ripe, and they're injecting it with ripening agents, and then they have to quickly get it to the store before it goes bad. So they're a lot more pressed for time, and how much time has it been sitting in cargo by the time it gets to our grocery store, especially if we're buying it from across the country. So just kind of being mindful. I mean, obviously you're not going to make a salad with frozen vegetables, but my rule of thumb is if you're going to cook it, you might as well just buy frozen. You might as well use frozen. It's literally ready to go. Just open the bag, throw it in your pot. Maybe you just toss it in the microwave, and now you have steamed broccoli or steamed Brussels sprouts. So, and especially nowadays, there's so many different frozen vegetables like onions, carrots, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, bell peppers, butternut squash, so many different things. So definitely check it out. Some other tips are to meal prep while baby naps or baby wear. Even if baby is like content, maybe they're doing tummy time on the floor, maybe you quickly do some meal prepping at that time. I like to get rotisserie chickens because they're ready to go and you can use it in so many different ways. You could eat it hot, like with your meal, buy the rotisserie chicken, eat the whole chicken, and then the next day you could munch on it. You could just eat it as a snack. You can make chicken salad sandwiches. You could use the leftover chicken and make fajitas, tacos. Then you could use the carcass and make your own bone broth. So buying a whole chicken or a rotisserie chicken can be a really easy way to save you time. Also get a crock pot or an Instapot, especially in the morning if you're feeling a little more energized, compared to dinner time. Maybe you do more crock pot meals. So that's a lot of what I do. I do a lot of crock pot meals because I have a little more energy in the morning. Maybe towards the end of the day, I'm just like so tired or I have decision fatigue and I don't know what to make for dinner. At least in the morning, I know a little bit more about what I want to eat for dinner that night, or I have a little more energy to put something together. Maybe during this season of life, you do meal delivery service. There's nothing wrong with that. Like some of them you will need to make your meals, like Blue Apron or HelloFresh. You still have to put the meal together. But there are some other meal delivery service like Factor. I don't know if you've heard of Factor, but they make healthy, ready-to-go meals. You just pop it in the microwave. So that could be an option too. And then just set your baby or your kids up with an activity while you cook. I like to bring magnets and let my kids just put magnets on the refrigerator while I'm making something. I try to feed them maybe first, especially if you're exclusively breastfeeding, your baby's not eating solids yet. Maybe you nurse them, you get them content, bottle feed them, and get them situated on the mat, and then you go and cook your meal. So, you kind of get creative with, and you find what works for you. So another big thing that I want to emphasize is self-care. So mother yourself. So we spend a lot of time taking care of our babies, and that's not a bad thing, but we also need to care for ourselves. Fill your cup up. And some people think that self-care is just getting your nails done or getting a massage, and that's not always possible. We don't have childcare a lot of times, and it's not always possible for me to just go out and get my nails done. So finding other ways to fill your cup. Did you eat breakfast? Did you take a shower today? Did you brush your teeth? How can you meet your just physical needs? Maybe it's not self-care, but you still need to mother yourself. You still need to make yourself feel human. So for me, I always make my bed because making my bed helps me feel accomplished. It's kind of like setting my day up like, okay, I've got this. I put makeup on, at least mascara, even if I'm not leaving the house, just because it makes me feel awake and more human. And then I try to do things that I enjoy. Maybe if I'm on the floor playing with my baby, I have my headphones in, or maybe I have like Alexa in the background playing music that I like, or even listening to a podcast. Even just 5 to 10 minutes can make a big difference. So maybe during nap times or when your toddler is doing quiet time, you just take 5 to 10 minutes. Don't clean the house. Don't do anything that you need to get done for the house, and just spend 5 to 10 minutes for yourself, filling up your cup. So just ask yourself, what makes you human? What makes you feel good? Maybe at the end of the day when your partner comes home, maybe you give the kids and you just step out for 5 to 10 minutes, just clear your mind, take some good deep breaths, and then you come back out, talk, make dinner, socialize, do stuff like that. But filling your cup is going to be really important for just giving you that stamina, helping prevent postpartum depression, mood swings, stuff like that. And then some ways to just get some help. I know help, especially nowadays, we don't live near our family. We don't have a lot of help nearby. Maybe we just don't trust a lot of people, don't trust people to watch our kids. So, see what resources you do feel comfortable doing. Where can you delegate tasks? Maybe it's just starting to join a mental health support group with other moms who are in your same shoes. Maybe if you're having breastfeeding issues, you see a lactation consultant. Maybe the root of what's going on, what's causing a lot of the issues is breastfeeding. So try to get a second opinion, try to get some help from a lactation consultant. Maybe in this season of life, you get a house cleaner, maybe just once a month to do the big things like clean the bathrooms. So maybe just a house cleaner here and there. A postpartum doula is so great, especially those first 6 weeks. So I encourage moms putting this on their birth registry, and people can chip in and add some money to help get a postpartum doula. Maybe you consider a meal delivery service just for this period of life, just to help just offset some of this load, because we often feel this huge load, it's the load of motherhood. And so how can you find ways to delegate? So just remember that the postpartum period is a time to take it slow. It's a time to nourish yourself, care for yourself and your baby. You are your baby's world. You've gone through so much to bring them here. So take time for yourself and get help when you need it. Help is available. Nourish yourself, take care of yourself. Remember to eat meals. And know that support is there. So thank you very much. I hope you were able to learn a lot from this and just take some, key points away. This is me and my 2 kids. They keep me on my toes, but I am here to help you virtually if you need that support. I offer breastfeeding as well as nutrition support. As a functional dietitian, I can do specialty lab testing. So if you need any additional support, know that it's here. But you're doing a great job. You are seriously doing an amazing job, and your baby is so lucky to have you. So thank you all so much.